Alright y'all, welcome back to the channel and to some more buckshot testing, and today we've got a new choke on the channel that we haven't tried, and it's one that a ton of you guys have been suggesting that I pick one up, and I've been wanting to test one for a long time. So when I finally was able to get this one in stock, I had to pick it up so we could test it and see what it could do, because I'm hoping we see some pretty impressive results from it. So as for the shell I brought here today, I got out some of these, the Federal copper plated buckshot loads. These ones are probably one of the most common variants of these. 12 gauge, 2 3/4 inch, 9 pellet double aught buck, moving about 1,325 feet per second. So a very standard, very reliable load that we know has the potential to perform pretty well. So we should have a very common, very standard 9 pellet double aught load here today to run through this choke that should perform well. And as for our shotgun today, I brought out my Remington 870 special purpose. It has a 24 inch Carlson's barrel on it, but for the choke, I went and picked up one of these, one of the Trulock Boar Blaster buckshot chokes. A lot of you guys have wanted to see us test a Trulock Boar Blaster, so I finally got one. Now this is a 7 flat construction .700 700, so pretty middle of the road, kind of modified-ish choke construction, but Trulock has always performed fantastic for us in our testing with a few chokes of theirs, so I expect to see good results out of this since they claim this is for double and triple aught buck. So we'll see what we can get out of the Boar Blaster with these copper plated double aught shells. But as for today's test, everything is the same as usual. Big sheet of paper set up at 40 yards. I've got the chronograph so we can get our velocity, and I've got the templates that we can lay up over our results. So let's head over here and take our shot and just see what we can get from the Federal copper plated 9 pellet double aught shells through this new Boar Blaster choke. I expect to see pretty good results, but we don't know what's going to happen until we try it. So let's go over here and test it and see what kind of pattern we're able to get from it. Alright, so that shell gave us 1318 through the chronograph. The boss claim is 1325, so we're pretty much right there at it, even though we only have a 24-inch barrel. So not looking bad there at all, and I gotta say, the recoil reduction with that choke is massive. I don't even think they claim any recoil reduction from it, so that'll be really interesting to see if it continues dropping recoil like that for us as we test it more. But we're pretty much seeing our velocity claim. So what kind of a pattern did they give us down at 40? Let's go check it out and see what we got. Alright, so now we're down here at our 40-yard paper, and this is what we got. And I gotta say, it's pretty interesting. Now, yes, the white dot was my point of aim. The paper's 36 inches wide by about 44 inches tall, and we were way low and to the right. Now, that shotgun always hits dead on the money, and I'm very confident about my trigger pull and stuff on there. So that choke combo might just really hit low and to the right. So that'll be something for us to watch, that's for sure. This is one that I probably would normally take a second shot, but I unfortunately don't have any more of these shells. That was my last one. So we have to work with what we have here today. And as for what we have, we had 8 out of the 9 pellets on the paper, and I think it's pretty clear we definitely had 2 flyers. Our main portion of our pattern is all down there in the bottom right corner. We had 1 pellet up there in our white dot and one that completely missed the paper somewhere. So it was definitely a flyer without a doubt. Now, as for a spread, out of the 8 pellets we have here, including the flyer, that gave us a 20.5 inch spread. Now, our main core is 12.25 inches, that being all of those pellets down there at the bottom right corner. So 12.25 inches and 7 pellets of double aught buck is pretty impressive. So we definitely are off to a good start here, that's for sure. Now, yeah, I definitely don't like the flyers in there, but it's not completely unheard of either for a double aught buck load to have a flyer or 2 in them. It's pretty common, but definitely a really solid start. That 7 pellets worth of central core area down in the bottom right is pretty deadly without a doubt. So for the bare sheet of paper, the core looks pretty good, but let's throw some templates up and see how it actually looks in some more practical real life scenarios. Alright, so there's our 10-inch circle, and we had 5 pellets within that. We had one just behind the top of the template and another just behind the bottom of the template. But 5 pellets worth of double aught in a 10-inch circle at 40 yards is absolutely going to get the job done all day long. Numbers-wise, it's not the top of the list that we've seen, but we definitely have a condensed core area there without a doubt. So now let's switch over to some actual animal templates and see how it would have looked if you would have taken this shot in an actual hunting type of scenario. So first up here is our deer template, and of course we had to move it down there because that's where our actual core was, and we had all 7 of that little core group right through the vitals area there. And the 2 flyers would have most likely not hit the deer at all. But 7 pellets worth of double aught at 1300-ish feet per second down here at 40 yards right through the vitals on a deer, he's not going very far if anywhere at all. So definitely looking pretty good there. No complaints from me, except, I mean, I guess we can get picky and say I wish the other 2 pellets were in there as well, but that is still more than good enough for a core area. So now let's swap over to the hog template, since this is technically the Boar Blaster choke, although I think it's going to be pretty much the same story, but we'll at least look at it anyway since I have it out here. And here's that hog template, and it's the same story. All 7 of those core pellets would have been right through something vital there without a doubt. So absolutely a dead hog all day long. So overall here, I think we're off to a pretty good start with that Trulock Boar Blaster. I really didn't expect any different. We've had great luck with Trulock chokes across the board, so I know they're good performers. I know these copper plated double aught shells are good performers, and we definitely had a very nice core going there at 12¼ inches for 7 out of the 9 pellets. We had a couple flyers, and we did hit way low and right, so it'll be interesting to see if that same trend continues or not as we continue to test this choke. It might just be something with that particular choke, I have no idea, but we'll see what happens. But at the end of the day, very solid performance. If we want to get nitpicky, we had a couple flyers, but that's not uncommon for a double aught buck anyway. Definitely a solid performance and very good starting point for us to move forward with this Boar Blaster, without a doubt. So not a ton of complaints here overall. And here's the wad from that shell. Very much your typical federal copper plated stuff. Not quite a full length wad. You can see there's my thumb width. It's kind of almost 2 thumb widths long. Now it is a little bit bent up, but I think that's probably more from just hitting the ground than anything else, because it definitely did not snag anything on the inside of the choke. And no rips, tears, pinholes, anything stuck down in there except a little bit of buffer. So it looks very good overall here. Definitely nothing out of the ordinary. All right, y'all. Well, what did you think about that performance right there? A 12¼ inch spread worth of 7 pellets of double aught right there in the core. Definitely a very solid performance, without a doubt. That's going to absolutely hammer a deer or a hog or anything out at 40 yards. Now, I'm definitely curious to see if the low and right trend continues, and we'll see how many flyers and stuff we have going forward as well. Like I've already said a couple times, not uncommon to see flyers in double aught shells, and I probably would have taken another shot since we did hit way low right, but I don't have any more of these shells, so I think we were still able to see a pretty good majority of what we needed to see here. And that definitely gives me good hope moving forward here that choke's going to be a good performer. So overall, pretty solid first start here, without a doubt. That's plenty good enough to take out on a hunt. But let me know your thoughts down in the comments. Is that about what you expected to see? Were you a little surprised one way or the other? Have you tested one of the Trulock Boar Blaster chokes? And if so, what kind of results have you seen out of it? And what other shell combos do you want to see us run through that choke? Let me know all your thoughts down in the comments. But with that being said, I've got some more testing to get done for you guys, so I'm going to get back to it. As always, we have the channel Instagram as well as the mailbox where you can send stuff if you'd like. All that information will be in the description if you're interested in it. But I'm going to get back to it, so I'll see y'all in the next one.